The offseason is heating up with more trade scenarios surrounding our Atlanta Hawks. And today we're diving into a trade that could be a complete steal for our Hawks. We dive into the pros and cons. And should they do this? Welcome back to Hawks Digest. I am Chris Tipmore, and right next to me is my guy, Walter Pollard. What's good?
How are you, sir?
Hey, man, every day is a great day to be a Hawks fan. How about yourself?
That it is. Listen, I am excited to go ahead and get into this. Really, since the season has ended, it's really just kind of circulated just with nothing but, trade rumors, trade rumors, trade rumors. And I think the NBA directly pinpoints who's looking, who's in the market for a trade, or who's in the market for certain players, and which players are on the move. We got to get into it, Doc.
Yes, sir. I'm talking about it's great to be back, man. Y'all make sure y'all take off your shoes, leave on your socks, because me and Walter got an update for you guys. And Hawks fans, y'all make this may seem more realistic. We'll see. I mean, it's a lot of Giannis stuff going on, but this trade right here, hey, it could be an absolute steal for the Hawks. Let's get into it.
All right, so Chris, help me understand it just a tad bit when we get into this, because I got to pull it up first. There we go. So of course the Atlanta Hawks end up with Cam Johnson. What was he, a stretch? I want to say a stretch forward. Would you say?
I mean, well, I would say he's like a 3 and D.
Okay,
You know,
so yeah, it's all
yeah.
about a good forward. You know what I mean? Small forward. He could probably play a three, but of course he will be traded to the Atlanta Hawks for a host of picks. And it's a three-team trade, Chris. And I want you to kind of dig into this and kind of give us a little more explanation to what it is we're looking at.
Well, first of all, 3 team trades, they're going to be more. I say, well, as far as trade rumors go, you're going to see those type of things because of that CBA. It's like how the money has to be moved around and stuff like that, just for a simple explanation. But yeah, like so you're gonna see 3 team trades to where this team is trying to help that team. And honestly, I feel like this was something to try to help the Lakers, but also this helps the Hawks as well. You see the moving pieces now. You could question about the draft picks though, because we
Mm-hmm.
strap for draft picks. And of course Hawks fans, they wanna hold those draft picks kind of close, so unless the deal makes sense. But when you look at the deal, okay, you would be losing Terrence Mann. You would be losing Kobe Buffkin. You would be losing a top 5 protected 2029 pick. And of course, a second round pick that you're not necessarily getting rid of is just going to be a part of it.
Right.
Basically, like giving it to Brooklyn and Brooklyn saying, "Here you go, LA." That's what like where I say it's like ATL via Brooklyn and stuff like that because we still have the pick. It's not Brooklyn's, it's ours. It's just it will be added into the deal.
So tell me this:
Uh,
do we? Because looking at the deal itself, I mean, you see a lot of the names. You see Austin Reeves is going to be on the chopping block. You see, Kobe Buffkin and Terrence Mann. So do are the Atlanta Hawks basically the main ones that wins in this? Because it seems like a lot of the other teams are getting some reserve bench players and some potential. Because we don't know if these picks are paying out for them, but of course the Hawks they get Cam Johnson, just one person.
Right. And the thing about it is like it's not see the thing that I don't like about the trade is there's something that people are forgetting. The Hawks have a $25 million trade exception as well. So that's something that has to be used by I believe the 7th of July. So if you're going to make a trade, why not offer the trade exception? And because Cam Johnson's contract falls right within the trade exception,
Okay.
then possibly you could keep Kobe Buffkin, who I believe the Hawks still believe in, whether Hawks fans do or not. I think the organization does. Terrence Mann is also someone who Trae Young came out his mouth and saying, if I had to lose my best friend Bogey, I would rather lose him for a guy that I can play with like this.
Mm.
So I'm thinking, why not just keep both guys? You still would be under the salary cap. You can absorb Cam Johnson's contract and add him to it. The problem is you would be hindering Zaccharie Risacher because Cam Johnson is definitely going to be at that 3 spot. I mean, you can definitely move him around, but you think about it when JJ comes back, that's JJ at the 4, Cam at the 3, Risacher's on the bench. Do you want to do that? I mean,
Now that to that degree, I would not want to put Rishi on the bench after a season that he's had. I don't because from what I know about basketball, coming off of the bench, there's an art to doing that because you have to turn it on right. They're bringing you in for a specific, or they're bringing you in so that you can get hot right now. Whereas if you're a starter, you're able to get into a groove. You can work yourself in. But I mean, could we say that Cam Johnson will be coming in as a reserve player, like somebody coming off the bench? And let's talk about like a lot of the pros that we would be getting in Cam Johnson. I know that he played with Chris Paul, played with Booker. You know, he played on the championship, the
Oh,
finals team,
yeah,
the
finals
Phoenix
team. Yeah.
Suns. Yeah, and of course there he came off the bench as well.
Right, right. But that was a totally different beast. He was a younger Cam
Yes.
Johnson, you know, what I'm saying, still learning the game. Brooklyn honestly gave him the opportunity to display his talents a little bit more. And
Okay.
I'll explain because before the All-Star break, he was averaging 19 points per game, shooting 41% from three. And on a team that likes to shoot threes in a system like Quin, that right there speaks volumes. And
Go back to earlier this season where the Hawks were expected to have a win versus them, versus the Brooklyn Nets, of course, and they shot the lights out.
right.
I was listening on 92.9. They consistently shot. I don't know what night specifically, but yeah, to your point, he is a shooter. He's a sharpshooter from what I'm hearing.
And even after the break, you know, people tried to get onto him saying his numbers dipped a little bit and his shot percentages dipped, but he still shot 39% from three. His attempts did go down, but you got to think about it. After the All-Star break, that's when it starts to get to the nitty-gritty.
Right.
Your team scouting you, they know that you're one of the best players over there, you and Cam Thomas. They know that y'all averaging 20 points. Of course, you're going to try to limit the guy. But having him with the Atlanta Hawks, you think about Trae Young with the pick and roll, the drive and kick, that could go to Cam Johnson. Again, though, I don't like hindering Zaccharie Risacher and his development, especially after the second half of the season that he had.
Right.
But it's just like
But I
with
mean,
Cam
not
Johnson
even
by
just him. It sounds like it really sounds like any of these moves, and we'll get into another move or trade rumor that I was even privy to earlier this week that we're going to talk about because it seems like any move that would be made by the Hawks if they were to make it would be somewhat of a team shake. It's going to shake the foundation of the team because from what we've seen this year so far,
mm-hmm.
I like what we see. I like what we
Yeah,
get, and I
yeah.
feel like I'm confident with getting JJ back coming into the season. I feel like getting another piece does make sense, but I don't know at what cost.
Right, that's true. And then you think about this as well. Like I said, even with the trade proposal that I even just proposed, you could still use Kobe Buffkin, Terrence Mann,
Right.
George Neal, whoever you want to possibly go after someone else. If you're able to use that trade exception, like I said, it's about 25 mil. Cam Johnson's contract is 23. That falls into that trade exception, and
The
we could
money
absorb
matches.
the
The money
contract.
makes sense.
Right. And we don't have to send out any salary because we can absorb that, and we would still be under the salary cap. Like I said, we would be closer to like 140, just doing the estimates because you know JJ's contract kicks in next year, so that's 30 mil. You know, and going forward, you still got to see if you want to bring back Karis LeVert, any other little small pieces, you know, like Garrison Matthews. Are you going to bring him back? You know, stuff like that. But you still would have a wiggle room to still make another move, and you may be trading out more salary depending on the player. So it is a steal all the way around for the
Okay.
Atlanta Hawks if they do go after a guy like Cam Johnson. You do away with Kobe Buffkin, who unfortunately been having these injuries. You know that, Walter. You've been having them injuries,
Yeah.
bro, and it's hard.
It,
It's hard.
okay, so you said because if I could we rewind the tape, you did
Right.
say that the organization still has some faith in
I
it.
think so.
Okay, you think so? Because it's not that Kobe Buffkin is a bad player or whatnot. I've yet the issue is I've yet to see it, and I feel as though it would make sense for the Atlanta Hawks to I don't want to say get rid of, but move
No.
him now while you still can before he
Right.
becomes dead weight or it just becomes a nasty situation where you just cut him all together when he was at one
Fresh
point a
start.
first round draft pick.
Yeah, bro. I'm talking about
Exactly.
mid round. So, you know, it's just that's another reason why I feel like they don't want to give up on him. They see the potential. Like Kobe is a baller. Like we've seen Kobe ball. Like we like
Yes,
in
we
my
have. Even
we
in the
see
G Leagues, yes.
yeah, small sample sizes. Kobe can ball it's the injury thing. I'm not talking about his ability at all. I'm talking about his availability. So that's the only thing I have against Kobe Buffkin, truly.
You said it. Listen, most of these trades, obviously, I kind of would like to deal in the trades that we would offer up because again, I wouldn't mind moving Kobe Buffkin. As a matter of fact, I would even urge the Hawks to use the fact that he was once a first round draft pick, and that he does have different spurts of or different flashes of greatness. You know, he just needs to rehabilitate correctly. He needs to make sure that he's ready to be available because I think this could be a situation where Kobe Buffkin just might be better off in another situation. And I think then if we can move him, get somebody else in the fact, you know, I think we can, but I don't want to ruin the core. Dyson Daniels, Zaccharie Risacher, Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, you know, Onyeka Okongwu. I feel like adding someone in would make sense, but getting rid of some of them is foolish. And I bring that up because I was reading earlier this week in a different news article. And of course, yes, it has been talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Of course, him coming to the Atlanta Hawks. Jalen Johnson going up there, but it doesn't stop there. Okay, they also mentioned the fact that Jalen Johnson would go, Zaccharie Risacher would go. I think a couple other folks would end up going to Milwaukee, and you know it just at that point I just tuned out because in my honest opinion I cannot see the Atlanta Hawks being so foolish to getting rid of the pillars that make up the team right now because this was a magical season. Funny as I could say it, this was a good season.
Yeah, oh, definitely. It just all depends on what lens you're looking at it. I know
Right.
it's easy to say, "Oh, the Hawks they lost this, they didn't get over, you know, it's an over 500, blah blah
Right.
blah." Yeah, I understand that, but you got to look at it. Risha Shea got development.
Yes,
You
he
know,
did.
since Young trusted his teammates, he became more of a leader. He honestly Trae dialed his game back to try to, enhance other teammates. On Yeka Okongwu, he took
He
major.
took a major step.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand his size. He's not going to be able to get over. But you got to give Onyeka his credit. He averaged a double-double since coming in on MLK Day, one of the best centers, that was out there
Yeah.
overall. The numbers speak for itself.
Right.
Like, it's we had some good things. Like we can continue to really to go on and on. But we had some good things happen for the Atlanta Hawks. And you think about it, even with the trades and all the stuff like that, we are under the salary cap. This is the one of the best seasons we've had under the
Right.
salary cap since definitely better than last year. Defensively, we did get better. I know it didn't look like it, but shoot, since 2021, we was like one of the better defensive teams since 2021. So it just like as far as for our franchise, not saying the
No,
league,
for sure. I understand where you're coming from.
but yeah,
The signs are pointing in a certain direction, and again,
right.
I just see it going a certain way. Just as a fan, I feel as though I feel as though Chris, you're great at understanding the money. You dig what I'm saying? You must really got a good credit score, I assume. I mean,
I mean,
seriously, bro.
I'm over
Okay.
700. I can keep
Big shout out to Chris, y'all. But no, I bring that up because again, when you look at it just from the standpoint that I'm sitting at, just as a fan, I just wouldn't want to see this group of guys, put apart. Now, again, yes, you bring up Kobe Buffkin, him being involved in this trade along with Terrence Mann. Okay, those are the guys that I'm more so interested in. Okay, let's move them. Do I want to get rid of future picks? I don't mind because the way that the NBA is set up, you can get rid of a 2030 pick and get two 2027s or 28. So there's always a different way.
it's crazy. It's
Go ahead.
crazy though. No, I was just gonna say, just add to your piggyback off of what you were saying about the picks. It's funny because it's like, okay, is Cam Johnson worth a 2029 a first round pick?
Right.
I know it's out there, but it's just like, is he? And I'm thinking, yeah, why not? You look at it like this: it's a protected pick. It's not unprotected.
Mm.
So there's still a chance that we could possibly, if it lands in the top five, the Hawks keep the pick anyway. That's the same scenario that we're waiting for next week anyway, brother. When
Right.
it comes to the Kings pick,
Right.
we're hoping it doesn't land in the top four, so we can still have that pick. So
See?
hey,
So either
they
way.
Right.
I mean, it's just more than one way to skin a cat.
It is.
And so
Do you want to win?
right,
And do you want to win?
right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Atlanta Hawks Digest. Of course, my name is Walter Pollard, and that is my guy, Chris Tipmore. And again, we are going to be here throughout the entire offseason. We definitely got the lottery picks next week. We got the draft next month. There are so many things to look forward to. Make sure that you guys are here every step of the way so that we can give you guys the best content possible. Make sure that you get with us in the chats, talk with us, of course, and just let's try to dissect this situation because we don't want to see any of the guys leave. But if you were to want anybody to go, give us your scenarios or your trade packages down in the comments below. Like I said, my name is Walter Pollard. That's Chris Tipmore. We're signing out, y'all. Peace.